I'm Wanjira.
I'm Eva.
I'm Penny, and
this is the 21st story.
So welcome back, everyone. Thanks for keeping it locked here. Let me take you back a little bit. Last time we talked about the diagnosis, right?
Yes.
We talked about how we got our diagnosis. Today, we are just reflecting back kidogo, just a bit. How were the first days after the diagnosis? How did that feel? And more to that, when did acceptance start feeling real to us? Did we use any tools? Let's educate. Let's share as we educate to catch up and to hear how our stories were. Yeah. So I don't know, where do we start? Who is feeling?
Who's feeling like, sure, you said your story was not that long about your acceptance.
Yeah, Penny, tell us.
Okay, the reason why I was saying that is, first, I was one of those who got to know about the diagnosis way before giving birth. So I think I told you my story about going to the doctors. And so for me, I started looking into it. What does Down syndrome mean? What is that? And as we were going through the journey of, monitoring me, the chances kept changing. So yes, there was a bit of, in as much as I was reading about it, I was researching on it, coming to, figure it out. Because I think my acceptance journey started then because I was one of these people who never grew up saying I want kids. I know I wanted to be the president. I wanted to change the world.
Can still be president as a mother.
Don't have children.
I wasn't. I actually even used to be one of those guys, my cousins. I remember they'd come to the house and they'd be like, there's nobody in the house other than Penny, because I was so not interested in babies and kids. I remember going to pick my mom's buddy from hospital one day, and I was told to hold the baby, and I refused to hold the baby, and I think my mom nearly slapped me. I was 18 because I was really not into babies. It was natural to me. I would rather be there reading. Yes, I'm a bit of a geek. I'd rather be there reading than dealing with kids, unlike one of my sisters who, loved kids. Anyway, I really didn't grow up that way. But much later, I started warming up to kids after my nephews and nieces were born. So for me, being pregnant, and again, I told you I'm a late mom. In my 40s is when I got pregnant. And it was like, oh, wow, God had made this happen. I wasn't expecting to be pregnant. I'd closed that chapter of having babies. So I think to some degree, me being pregnant and coming with all these diagnoses, even if it was much later towards my pregnancy at week 32, 33, there was a possibility it might not be the case, because every time they did the prenatal checks to find out whether, yes, this one, other than the heart condition, what are the other associated conditions with Down syndrome that this child have? And they didn't. So there was an element of, yes, I'm reading up on it, I'm preparing on it, but they're not sure. And then for me, again, because of when God brought, I always say God and Theo, I'm always telling God and Theo, you chose me to be your mother. Because of not wanting, I wasn't really bothered about having kids. And then they come at this point. I think there's an element of God wants me to be a mother. However it comes with...
And God laughs.
It's like God wanted me to. So there was no question about whether I'm keeping this baby, even as they kept telling me, if you want to do an abortion, we'll support you, and this is the process. So for me, I was like, okay, there's a high possibility that my child has Down syndrome. By the time I was giving birth, it was like reduced to 30% chance, because now they're eliminating all the other issues. And I would say I just told God, yes, eventually, like I said last time, the 2 days after they did the
Karyotyping
test. Chirotyping. I have to remember Cairo. Anybody of mine who's called Cairo, then type in chirotyping. So yeah, they called it. Yes, it was not what I wanted. I mean, deep down, nobody wants a child with a condition because you know what it comes with. But the minute the call was made, they've done the blood test and this is it, I remember telling God, you have my back. And there's nothing you'll give me that I can't handle. And I've been in situations in the past where, God, you have my back. And I've seen God have my back throughout. So for me, I was like, you know what? We'll do this. And don't get me wrong. We were in ICU NICU for like 10 days because there was many other issues happening around that time. He wasn't latching, so I couldn't even breastfeed at that time. And I remember feeling like, oh, God, you're really taking away a lot of things here. But I am going to deal with this situation the way you want me to deal with it. And I know you've given me the resources and you will continue to give me resources with the support of, family. I know my family is very supportive. My friends are. But at that particular time, I didn't know whether they were going to be supportive or not, But I'd say I made peace a long time ago. And I'm continually making peace. There's one thing I always do on a daily basis is tell Theo how much I love him and how much he brings joy to my life. And that, I think, makes the journey easier. I remember reading an article those early days. So I was in a position where there's so much information being thrown to me. I had, doctors coming in and out for home visits, etc. And I remember reading and I'm like, you know what? I'll stop reading because it's too negative. It's too negative.
Yeah.
And this journey, one of the pamphlets I read was about our journey is like taking the scenic route. Yeah. So previously in my life, I used to drive a lot and I used to be on the motorway a lot. And there are times when I had an alternative route, which they call the scenic route, to go from point A to point B. And there are times when I was like, I'm at work, I'm not taking the scenic route. And I would stay on the motorway and, get to point B. And I read this leaflet saying that it is taking the scenic route, but you'll still get there. Yeah. And I remember thinking, there are days when I used to drive and I'm thinking, today should have been one of those days I took the scenic route, but because I'm in a hurry, I'm not taking the scenic route. And for me, this has been my scenic route with you. Yeah. It's, like even sometimes when there's delayed milestones, I remember when he couldn't walk by the certain age. I wasn't bothered because it meant he's staying on my chest longer. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't feeling like pressure. He must walk by 2. Yes, I have the responsibility to make sure that he meets his milestones, but I wasn't feeling pressured to do those milestones because it means whatever it is in the process of a child growing up, I'm spending more time with him. Because soon, and I'm sure the typical kids, when they're like 10, they're like, you're cramping my style. You don't want to be next to me. I'm enjoying it. And I'm not saying I'm okay with the delayed milestones. I'm just saying God has my back and we are continually doing this scenic route. And I'm enjoying it. Yes, it has its challenges, don't get me wrong. But
it's more scenic.
God, we did that pact with God on that day. And I remember very well. And I see you at night and I told God, you have my back and we will do this. You will provide for me. You'll give me the resources. It's not going to be easy. I'll not get there faster than everybody else. It's definitely the scenic route. Awesome. Yeah, so that has been my journey of acceptance. And it's a daily thing, like I'm sure for most people. It's not say because I accepted that day, I don't have moments of thinking. The days when you're having a bit of a challenge, especially when they're unwell, when he had to go through his heart surgery. And I'm thinking, God, are you sure I can handle this? But God is constantly reassuring me that, yes, we got this. I have your back. Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. Pennies, no sense of done.
Done.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Pick up yourself.
Wanjera, were you different? And you see, she's had resources. She also have what she used. She's seen that pamphlet that told her, about the scenic route. What has helped you? Was it as immediate as Pennies?
Wow, Pennies is interesting because of her acceptance and, pushing through. For me, I think I mourned slightly longer, and I mourned in silence. I mourned by myself. I didn't want people to worry more than they should. So I took it upon myself. So after he had the short stint in NICU because his bilirubin levels were high. He did phototherapy. And during that time in NICU, I think also there's something about being in NICU that really brings you close to God.
Yes.
And looking at all the children and hearing this one has been here for 6 months, this one has been, and then you now internalizing and wondering, is this going to be me? Is this what life is going to be for me? I think then now I realized my journey was not going to be the same because my other son didn't go to NICU. So we got discharged, and I grieved alone. Not to say that I didn't have support, but they also didn't know how to support. So it was me looking for the information, me trying to figure out everything. And I think the one question that I had always asked myself is, why me? Why? And I remember trying to I remember going in an altar call, when you're asked to pray, whatever you want God to help you with. And I remember going to the front and I asked God for this child. But now later, before I accepted, this occurred to me later. It was by design. It wasn't by fluke. It wasn't something that was said or done. It was intended for me. So I grieved by myself. So let me say my acceptance started with going for therapy.
Oh, wow.
So it was, this has to be done, and who's going to do it? It has to be me.
Going for therapy or
taking Gitaria for therapy.
Oh, I thought it was your...
No. I was down in the dumps.
That would be really good.
It would have been.
We don't think about her.
You made me.
We might need to think
Something
about
to
having
consider.
therapy.
Because they say sometimes it's the loss of the child you never had.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's your grieving.
Yes, and even the plans that you had for this child, because then now comes, will he ever get married? The bigger dreams, will he ever go to school?
You have proper foresight.
Doom.
You see into the future, into their future. You want to.
So there was. I think going for therapy and seeing other children and you realizing you're not alone, and the constant visits to the doctors and confirming everything else is okay. So then now knowing that the challenge ahead of us is neck sitting. So I think it helped to know what to do, not being in the dark, not going with the flow. But I remember someone told me, a doctor, before now we got the confirmation that it's classic Down syndrome. She's like, please enjoy the child. Stop worrying about tomorrow. And I think that now, the small little conversations you'd have with someone and someone has something to say, live a day at a time, became my mantra. So I think acceptance hasn't happened because every time we hit a challenge, I always feel like, you have to give yourself the pep talk again. But I think it's part of the journey of having a child with Down syndrome or even a differently able, even a child, because they might not do things the way you want them to do, but it is for you to allow them to get to where they're going, but support. So I can't say I'm fully I have accepted that he has Down syndrome. And I am so proud of the boy that he is, and so happy that he's brought so much. I don't want to say joy, but he's changed me and he's changed my outlook in life. So acceptance is that every day. The tools is information. The tools is information. Going to look for the correct information, asking and not being shy to be vulnerable. I mean, talking to you guys and not feeling judged. So I think for me that's what acceptance or the process of acceptance looks like.
Okay, super.
I'm just sat here thinking and wondering, is the journey maybe slightly different for me in comparison to you, Angela, on the basis that there was nothing to compare with?
Yes,
milestones,
probably,
you know what I mean?
probably.
Especially the time when you're saying when they don't hit the milestones, it's like, okay, that they're supposed to walk by, 1 year old.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's no body to compare with.
compare
You
with.
walk when you're ready.
Yeah.
But you know what, Penny?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like for me, for instance, one thing that I was very clear on is do not compare.
Yes.
Because when you compare, you find yourself now going down a dark rabbit hole of, by this time, this one was doing this, by this time, like the delay is so long, it's so prolonged, yeah? So as I was saying, like when it comes to comparisons, like that's the worst thing you can do, because then I find that you end up stressing yourself unnecessarily. Because Ella being my second child, I'd already gone through all the typical milestones with my typical child. Yeah, my first child, who's a boy. And when it came to Ella, I think what helped me was take one day at a time.
Yeah.
And I remember even as I was talking to different moms, I'd always tell them, take one day at a time. Like we were joking earlier and we're saying we could see their future. We had already foreseen everything. And we're like, will they have friends? Will they get married? Will they, whatever, will they be accepted in school? And you're talking about someone who's like 3 days old, 1 month old, 3 months old, So in the same way that you gave your first child or your second child or your third child their time to grow, and you are going based on their time, you should do that also with a child with Down syndrome or special needs for that matter.
But even you make it sound so easy. I know even, our society, even as ladies, so when are you getting married? So, the neighbor has gotten doctorates. When are you finishing your degree? Even typical, I guess it's just being a parent, comparison or society compares, human beings compare.
But you know what?
Yeah?
You've been through, I'm sure you've experienced this, where you have people come see your newborn baby, typical or special, where they say, drink porridge, drink what for you to have enough milk, right? With a first child, you take all the pressure. Okay, you take all the pressure and you feel like you're doing things wrong. You end up gaining like 55 kgs extra or whatever it is. But I from that, I also learned now to do things like to take my own pace.
Yes.
And the baby's pace. Okay. So fortunately for Ella, she came second because I feel like things would have been crazy. It wasn't that easy,
Thank God they accepted long. And it's her firstborn,
So with Ella, everyone was like, oh, maybe it's because, because I didn't have enough milk. People are like, oh, maybe you're not drinking porridge or you're not drinking or you're not
eating jahe.
Yeah, and I'll just tell them, okay, I will. By the way, I will. And the minute they're gone, I was on my usual routine, you understand? And it worked for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the whole comparison thing and even for the acceptance. For me, my journey, I think I've shared this with a few of you, but I'd like to think that it was easy. It was very hard at first, and then when I accepted, everything was just fell in place.
Yeah.
And I think I've told this story before, where the baby came. I've understood that the baby has Down syndrome. 3 weeks later, we get the results to confirm those results from Germany that we're talking about in the last episode. They come, and then my husband now is the one. It's for him to start accepting, all right?
Yeah.
Well, not even to accept, for him to understand that she has Down syndrome, okay? To bear the news, correct.
bear the news.
But for me, I had already bore the news, right? It was now the acceptance journey. And that is now like you're breastfeeding the baby. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. But I remember holding this baby and thinking, oh, you know, your eyes, your nose, plastic surgery, or you don't have this crease on the palm, which is one of the symptoms they tell us to look out for. You don't have this, but if I do this, will you look different? Will people notice? And, you know, I already judged her and looked for solutions on how to protect her from how cruel possibly the world might be, especially other kids, sincerely. But anyway, and I told you the story about how my son came and he sang for her, and it was that song Bruno Mars, Just the Way You Are. And that for me was like, it's like God saying, Eva Bana, just accept.
Yeah.
Accept, you'll be better off, you know? And the minute I realized that, I just felt like her warmth overcome me. And I was okay. And that night is when I wrote to all my family and friends and anyone who had their email address. And I said, don't whisper. I know I mentioned this last time, but then now the journey thereafter was easier than how it was prior, because I would see people looking at my baby even when I'm carrying her, as floppy as she was, and I would not be so harsh as like imagining what they're thinking about my child. Before you'd be like, they're probably thinking that my child looks funny or my child looks different or blah, blah, blah. And I'd be so like on the defense. I'd be very uptight. But then this time I'd be like, okay, they've noticed. I hope they can come and ask me the question. You know, like, don't hesitate. So I softened my stance so that I'd be more welcoming and approachable for someone to come and ask, by the way. And so fast forward, there was like a baby banda. You know those ones that used to happen at Sarah Center? There's a baby banda that happened at Sarah Center. And for some strange reason, I think I was there. It was a random Sunday. And I was like, okay, fine, let's just go and walk around with my husband. And then we go into the exhibition. I was like, okay, fine, let's see what else is here. I actually don't think I was going for the baby banda. I think it was combined with something else. There was baby and something else. I was really not interested in the baby thing at the time, as you can imagine. So I go in and we're looking at stuff. And I noticed this lady, she kept staring at the baby. And I was like, okay, we have one. I've got one. There's a starer.
A starer.
Yeah, there's a starer. And we keep walking. And then I noticed she's trying to make her way, you know. Like she's not... And by the way, this was her booth. But she's not even paying attention to what is happening in her booth. She's like, you know, and I was like, oh, man, she might as well just make her way here. And I could see she was really struggling. So eventually I was like, you know what, let me just confirm my suspicions. So I passed close by. My husband all this while doesn't even know what I'm doing. I passed close by. She had diapers and stuff on her table. I didn't need. I already had enough stock from baby showers and whatever. And she goes, excuse me. I was like, boom, I knew it. She's like, hi, your baby, oh wow, so cute. And I said, thank you very much. And she's like, oh wow, it's a girl or boy? I said, it's a girl. Okay, have you started therapy? I was like, oh, this is a different one. It's not just a stare for the sake of staring that your child looks different. And I was like, therapy? You know, I had no clue. Remember I told you I was walking this journey alone? I had no clue. So, I told you she's a singer. But anyway, so she's like, have you started therapy? And then I was intrigued. And I was like, what therapy are you talking about? And she's like, has she started doing occupational therapy? And I was like, what's that? And that's when she took her time to explain it to me. Basically, it's like gym. Occupational therapy is like early intervention therapy for children who need physical support, you know, like to build their muscle tone. Like we had talked about children with Down syndrome being born with hypotonia, like being floppy. So it's like gym for the baby so that they can strengthen their muscles and then they're able to hit the other milestones, you know, like the neck, crawling, rolling over, typical developmental milestones. But yeah, so she explained it to me like that, like layman terms. And immediately I took her number because she turned out to be an occupational therapist. So that ended up being Ella's first occupational therapist. And we were with her. See, that was Sunday. We were with her on Tuesday and she started. So she was Ella's first therapist.
How old was Ella?
Ella was 4 months at the time. And so when she started the therapy, it also turned out to be like therapy for me because I would talk to her and ask her questions.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and she would also share. She's like, "Oh, when you notice this, oh yeah, when other parents come and other babies, oh, I have another client or another baby who's like this," and like what Jira said earlier. You feel okay because now you realize you're not walking this journey alone, and this is not unique to you. So it's important for you to accept so that you can do what you need to do for your child, for them to now be able to reduce the gap on the delay on hitting their milestones.
Very true, very true. I like what you're almost introducing, and I think we should do it sometime. We need to talk. What is Down syndrome? You've talked of the markers we've been mentioning, the misconception. So we will address that. But I also like that we are all saying when you are accepted, then you are more receptive to people, even to get information for yourself and help your baby. And how lucky that you guys also, you accepted very quick. Mine is different. I'm like, I wasn't about to say no, so moving on. So sharing mine was a bit delayed like yours. Okay, as I during the other episode on when we got our diagnosis, ours came at month 3. So it was, I have already loved and owned this boy, and just the way he is. He was the only son in the family, and moving on 3 months later, then I get poof. So obviously, it took me back. So it's not that I have lost the child I expect. I already have the one I expected. 3 months into the journey, we are going. Then now suddenly you're telling me
it's not what you think.
No, wait. Yes, there is a curveball, So I mourned, for sure I mourned. I would give it I would say like a month. It was those ones
When you
of...
say mourned, cry every
day. Yes.
Ugly cry.
I was crying, but obviously not in front of the siblings. It is when you're alone in the shower and you're like, oh God, now what did you do?
And you were not crying in front of them to protect them?
Yeah. You see, as moms, even the way we want to carry, as you're saying, they don't know how to help. Maybe even they had seen something different, but they're wondering, so how do you approach it? And maybe you're even now protecting the child more, So I would cry in the bathroom, even at night on the pillow, I'm alone. And I could also see the dad down. I didn't see him crying. Did he cry, by the way?
Did you cry?
Did you cry?
I don't think Ken, even if he cried, then he do like 7
I wish you cried.
I'm sure you cried in the shower.
In private.
Somewhere.
Yeah, because men,
hope they did.
and I think men, I mean, it's also something that we need to think about. How did our significant others,
how
or
did they
even
take?
our larger support, how did they take it?
So it took time. But the funny thing is, maybe it brings down to accepting help. Because even with the crying, now I saw the face, Munene's face changing from that sweet Munene that I've had for 3 months. He started looking like those people
On the internet.
Yes, on the internet. Imagine. So he started looking like those pictures, and I was like, oh, okay. But then one day...
But Monene is one of those kids who don't look like that.
Imagine. But in my eyes, imagine it's in our eyes,
changed.
the brain.
Ignorance is bliss
Yes. He changed.
Yeah.
I woke up, I said, wait, he didn't look like them before. Why is he now looking like those pictures? I said, it's me.
It's you. Based on the information.
Yes. No, it has been implanted.
You're looking for it. You're looking for
eyes.
Yes. And I start seeing it. I'm like, no, it is there. Imagine it's there. The eyes are there. So when I said, imagine, what is this now? It's me. It's me. Now I start even beating myself up. Shame on me. How? Why are you making your... Hasn't he been with you for 3 months? What is this now? And that was my wake-up call. And I talked to Ken. I asked, so what is this? Are you seeing this? Imagine it's perception that has changed on my side. So him, I don't know, but I don't remember him crying. We didn't talk much. But now when we said, we are taking this. We've had this child for 3 months. I have seen the changes. because of my brain, but he wasn't any different. So we are moving forward. We are taking this boy and moving forward like he was supposed to have moved, And that was it. So yes, acceptance. I agree with all of you. Acceptance helps change our outlook. Even people now coming to us, because it's from that accepting that we said, now we need to tell everyone. Because maybe they are looking at us and wondering, should we approach?
They
Sometimes
see it.
are
They seeing it. Yeah.
That therapist approaching, you'd have been, nimekuona, you're all. But because you had already accepted, she came and she told you about therapy and you helped your child. So we need to really talk to the parents, anyone watching, to know that acceptance, helping our friends with children who've been born with any diagnosis, once they just accept the child as they are,
and
things change.
That also comes with that is the impact that it has on other people in that position. They'll be like, you make it look so easy. You're like, you've not limited Theo in what he can and can't do. Because it's now that acceptance that's making you treat your child like a typical child. And then now it's impacting the other people because they'll be like, even sometimes when I post things on my status, etc., because now my social media stopped being about me, it's about Theo.
You're changing the narrative.
Yes, and it's like you'll get those comments. You're like, oh, okay. So it's like, yes, you'll still have those guys who are still ignorant, and I don't blame them. But it's our acceptance has an impact not just to our immediate family members, but other people with children with whatever condition it is, whether it's autism, etc.
But you know what?
And allows you to speak to them also.
But not only for parents with special needs, it also teaches others how to treat your child.
Exactly.
So they accept that, okay, this thing is not contagious. It's not a disease. This is actually what it is. So you create awareness because now they're more curious. And then they treat your child like a typical child.
Actually, I remember when we broke the news now to the extended family. Okay, we called the nucleus, so my siblings, my family side, and Ken's family side. And we had a one-off. So let's break these once and for all. All questions, put them here and we address them. But one thing we were clear, we are not taking any special treatment for Munene. He makes a mistake, the same mistake the sister would have made, and you chapa her, Munene, chapa the same. Correct. No treating any different. And if you do treat different or we feel you're handling him differently, allow us to just excommunicate. It's not... It's those ones of okay, but giving grace also. Even them, they've lost a nephew, a grandchild, a brother. So we gave them time. So you have 1 month. Pray for those who say he will heal. Pray, do all those things that you think you want to do. Mourn also. We also had our time to mourn. But after this time, no, it's moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, and then we've seen them taking up and move.
And they are picking from you.
Yeah.
I think they are learning from you because if you mop around, they will also move. Yeah.
If it's a pity party, they'll
we'll throw. We'll all come with.
And that's how the limitations now start.
Exactly.
But I like the fact that you were very deliberate about having that conversation, because in our African setup, we would rather everything under the carpet. It's a taboo subject. We don't know how to talk to her, to approach, but being deliberate about it and say, I've accepted, kindly accept with us. Maybe your journey will be different, but that's being deliberate. I don't know if there's any special needs moms out there who could borrow this same leaf of being deliberate about how we talk. I never really did that. But I see the impact that would have,
being forthright from the word go.
I did that with my...
collectively with the family together. I mean, people do it 1-to-1,
Yes.
But together as a family, both families, I was really... Really
So
good,
for me,
yeah.
it was very interesting because my mom and my sisters were getting their diagnosis or the suspicion of diagnosis, or I am the one who gave them. So I always laugh at them visiting ours, and they stormed through the hospital. They're like, it's an emergency. And they were there when it wasn't, it wasn't time for them to be there. And they were more than willing. They were like, say what you want, if it's. So I think once you involve them, and you have to be vulnerable to allow people in a space that you're also not very sure of, and you learn as you go, and depending on how close you are with them, then now it becomes a journey that is slightly easier. Now for my husband's side of the family, I thought that was for him to say. But I realized that his process was longer. So we gave him time, and in a year we told now his extended family. But before then, I had also told now my other cousins. And I remember my niece crying because she didn't know what that looked like. And it seemed like it was a serious conversation. But now when I look at it, if we did not allow her in that space, now she's finished Form 4. Now she's thinking of teaching children with special needs. And it was nothing that I did. It's just that Italia is part of the family. And I allowed them to come in the space that I don't know. I have no clue. I'm living a day at a time, and we figure out.
As we talk about this, are we seeing? Have we felt that acceptance? Not just because we told our family out here. Are we seeing them accepting our children?
Because of our acceptance.
Because of our acceptance.
Because I think it projects, So if you're not mollycoddling your child, or you're treating them the same way. Okay, for me, I'm very open in terms of when I go to a new place, we need new people. I make it very clear from the onset, that Theo has Down syndrome.
Why do you have to say it? Why do you have to say it?
Hi guys.
I was like, let's deal with this. You move on. We're not going.
No, but why do you feel like you need to announce it?
It just happens.
It's just automatic.
Yeah, it's just automatic. I'm not going to hide my Theo, and I'm not going to allow people to. There's an element of protection that comes with it, because I think there's that thing of, if Theo is throwing tantrums, me, I'll be like, let him throw his tantrums. I already put a disclaimer here.
Mine is complete opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish you would.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
Yeah.
Come and ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm treating it's normal. It's normal. For me, it's
this
normal.
This is us. This is my family. Yes.
I walked into your house, to your restaurant, or to the school.
Yeah.
Ask me what you need to ask me.
Yeah.
Because I personally feel like if I tell you, you might brush it off or not pay attention to the details. But if you're keen enough to pay attention, and then you want to ask me, you're asking me because you want to understand. Right? That's how I take it, And then it also kind of helps me gauge, are you coming like, is it out of malice? Are you being negative? Are you being positive? Are you being...
If, for example, like Theo is very friendly, like most of our children are. And there's always an element of, like, he'll go to somebody's house and he'll be like, oh my God. And how I'll address it, like I did recently, because we moved into a new place, is in March 21st, I put it in the chat. And I said, I'm doing a podcast for Theo, and I just get to learn more about Theo, who's come and knocked on all your doors. So
breaking ice.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah,
it
because
makes it easier for you.
It makes it easier because
and for him.
It's not everybody who understands. And Theo also doesn't have your typical Down syndrome. It's very features.
That's true.
Even his behavior, it's very... Quite often we get there, we didn't know. And I'm protecting him so that he's not misunderstood. So that neighbor then chapa him thinking, not chapa, but
reprimand.
Exactly. Because I'm conscious that his behavior might not necessarily correlate with his looks, because he's a very handsome, dashing young man.
I do opposite. I'm like Eva, and mine is, we are here, we are going nowhere, deal with us. And I don't and I think the other thing with acceptance is, once you accept, then you tag them along everywhere. They're not hidden at home. They don't make situations uncomfortable. They are part of the situation. So I think acceptance has also helped me, go everywhere with him, if it is to the bank, to the supermarket, to the...
Think about
it is
don't.
come, we go.
Yeah.
And the more we normalize, because I think that's another thing that we don't do, the more we normalize, the more we bring our children out, I think that is going to help the society appreciate that they are part of their society, and they're not going anywhere. So we need to learn to allow them in those spaces. I don't think there's any rule somewhere that says no children with Down syndrome or special needs, allowed. It is for us to make sure that they are present.
Apart from some schools, but
School is, but don't say
some churches
And
but they
even some
don't
play
put it.
areas.
there you go.
But it's never in bold.
No, it's not. Yeah, they don't explicitly
It's
say this.
it's in body language.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's also in the little things like like you go to this jump play areas where
And
there's trampoline, and it's like, oh, okay. If you're asking us to
Are you
get
staying?
extra help,
Yeah.
are you staying
Yeah.
with him?
Gosh, that has happened.
Yes,
Are you staying,
yes,
right? Not even are you staying. You're staying, right?
Yeah,
You're staying
because they
with-
don't want to
'cause they've
take
already seen.
responsibility.
I said, no,
Really?
no,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So you see, we can accept, we can have accepted ourselves, but the society, maybe they're saying we accept because they've not put in bold.
Lily, I think
know.
that is now a topic for a whole day.
Inclusion.
Our family
That's the
members
That's inclusion
have
now.
accepted
Yeah.
the society around us, the communities around
Need
us,
to accept,
starting
yeah.
with our immediate family members, going on to schools, play areas like I said, churches, and just typical even neighbors.
Yeah.
So are we saying, is there acceptance for us?
Yes,
And there is acceptance for...
And it
That's
goes
the
beyond
inclusion.
acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes beyond that. Because
That's
they
the
say they
inclusion.
accept, but then we
You know?
accept your child, but you're not including.
So
them.
it's acceptance
Yes.
and then
inclusion.
include.
Maybe for some family members is before inclusion, there's also an acceptance element to them. Your husband, your sibling.
Oh no, that's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
The family setting, that's fine. We're
Yes.
talking about now once you take them out of your house.
It's now
supermarkets,
acceptance
the
and
bank,
inclusion.
picking you up from school.
Because
Yeah.
it's the same journey every
Yes,
individual
correct,
accept into now
Correct.
inclusion. Yeah. But it starts with us.
Yeah. Which is so sad because that's something that you don't even think about when you have a typical child.
Yeah.
So again, Penny, just back to what you were asking before. If it's not your first child, some of these things you don't even think about. You're like, you know what? Child number one, child number two, let's go.
Yes,
You don't
yes,
think
yeah.
about it until you see someone's body language change.
Yeah, shift.
They shift, and there are some who are over accommodating, and you're like, you don't have to do that. It's okay. And then there are those ones who are like, they're just very standoffish. They just watch from far. They look at your child like that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they
Thinking
can
there's
feed
something.
themselves.
Yeah.
Oh wow, let's see what they do. It's just the weirdest feeling. But nowadays I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
I can laugh at that.
I think Theo got more attention on his hair more than his...
Because he's got such nice hair.
Does he have Down syndrome? And I remember guys always used to be, is this a boy or a girl? And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And you've not approached me because I can't remember very few instances where somebody has approached me because
Of
they think he has
syndrome.
Down syndrome.
Wow.
Yeah. Because like I said, even when they were calling it, it doesn't have your typical
The markers.
markers, attributes that come with it. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting conversation about acceptance.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. It's not because you
It's an
accepted
ongoing
the
journey.
first
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
because different challenges or issues will come along. I'm sure when we go to school, like I remember the school situation for me was a challenge that I was like, what
you
the
back.
heck?
It puts you back and you start thinking, oh, I hadn't realized my
Yeah.
child is actually different. You had moved on.
Yeah.
Then you're told your child is different.
Yeah,
5
you have to
steps
pay extra
backwards.
school fees.
Yeah.
We will only admit him because he needs a sibling.
And you know that one.
You've seen like in the Love chat group, you've seen how many moms have actually shared their experiences when it comes to school or different types of visits, if it's the supermarket or whatever, and how they, but especially the school one is the one that hurts me the most, where you have a principal or head teacher actually tell you, not these ones.
We
Or
only
not
take
this
one
kind.
of these.
Yeah, or not this kind. Or we are not well prepared for this kind. What do you think you're going
Again,
to
that's another subject about school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Acceptance plus inclusion.
Yeah, as we've said, it's a long story. So we'll have to come back and talk about inclusion because this journey
Don't get us
is
started.
long. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for watching. Please remember to like, share. And as you've heard, this information could change someone. So please go out and share and keep it locked. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
See you